Hi, this is Fran Torsen with some more funnelKIT Go training. What I want to show you today is basically a quick look at the toolbox, and that is the toolbox that you have when you create the campaign. So let's create a new campaign here. Now, all of these areas here are explained in great detail in your training behind the scenes at funnelKIT Go. Emka did a really great job going over all of this. What I want to do is just, look at a couple of things from a slightly different angle. And right now we're going to look at the content tab and the tools here that comprise a little toolbox. These are the drag and drop tools that make life very easy for you. You can create pages in 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns, and again, these are columns that just move right over just like that. 1 column or a 2 column, whatever you like. When you create a 1 column page, you can do it across the width of the page or in a box format. The default is set at 980, which is really cool. Let me show you how that looks. For my bonus page, I mix and match that particular element. These headlines here are these little bonus heads you see with the green background are set on a full width column, and the rest of it is set in a single column. Now this is a single column section right here. This is a 2 column section subset. And then I added 3 columns here. Most of this page is set at that 980 box width, and then these little sections over here that are the bonus headers are set on the full column width, and that's this choice over here. In this case, I took the full width and I added a background color, that is that green, and I put the white type on top of it, and that's what that is. You've got text. See, these are the little text boxes here. When you insert text, you have a WYSIWYG editor here and a choice of fonts. I hope they add a few more fonts one day soon, but what they have works just fine, and I'm very happy with it. If for some reason you don't see all of these elements, it could be that this button here is not toggled. It's called the toolbar toggle, and you just have to click that and open it. If you want to use an image in your text, this is a little different than a lot of other WYSIWYG editors because you add that here. I'll show you more about this in another video. I use this a lot when I'm inserting bullets or check marks. If I like a really nice graphical bullet style with check marks or something, or ballot boxes, I like to use this particular tool, and then I activate the image there. Let's see, we've got images, so we can insert images with this image box, and that will insert the image in its own area. So we see that there are 2 ways that we can insert images. One is with this image drag and drop button, and the other is inside of the text element box right there. And let me show you what those look like, what the difference is. If you take a look here at this foreclosure page, this picture over here is done with that element from the drag and drop. That's done with this kind of element over here. On the other hand, we have graphical elements here. These are image files included in the text, and when I insert those, I use the text element, I activate an image. I've got different check boxes over here. All right, see that? And then I select the image, and well, you know what, let me actually select one here. I'm going to choose the image. I find that the image width that works best for this type of a page is 48 by 48. So if you're uploading an image that's much larger than that, you can resize it here. And I like to work with square elements for that particular type of a situation. And then what you can do is you insert your text over here. And let me show you what that looks like on the page. So it looks like that in the drag and drop box. And this is what it looks like inside of your WYSIWYG editor. So even though you're selecting an image here, you can align it any way you want. The image itself does not appear in the WYSIWYG editor, and that's a little different than I'm used to working with on a WordPress blog. But it's cool because it can give me this kind of effect over here, and I really like it. So that's how the image inserter works. We have 2 ways of doing that, 2 choices. All right, we also have the opt-in form here. And the opt-in form is extremely important. All you have to do with this particular form right here is align it. You just put it where you want on the page and align it. And when you edit that, you do that back in the opt-in tab. And Emka has some great training about that over on the site. I'm not going to do that right now because we're just looking at the toolbox. All right, so there's our opt-in form. Video, all right, we can insert a video here. We can either do it with YouTube video. We can put in the YouTube URL, the video with. We can autoplay it or not. And we can also use embed code. I'm creating a separate tutorial about video because even if you're using YouTube video, I like the embed code better than this solution, and I'll explain why. And you'll see when we get to that video. Vertical spacer is very, very cool and necessary, actually. Learn how to use this one. This inserts space between your elements. Let's go back over to our page here for a second. All of these lines are separated with vertical spacers. If you don't use vertical spacers, the elements will appear one on top of the other, and that is not very, very appealing. And again, Emka does a really neat job showing that in his spaces. And HTML elements is also a very, very cool feature. You can insert any kind of HTML code you like right there, and that is very, very cool. So that's the basic toolbox. Oh yes, and there's a button over here that you can toggle on or off. On the green mode there, it stays in one place. You see this little toolbox stays put, and if you turn it off, it moves, so you're not going to be able to, let's say if you're working on a long page here, you're not going to be able to move the elements down. So I like to keep that on the green. All of these elements have three choices. You can copy them, you can of course edit them, or you can delete them. Copying them is great. I use that often for my vertical spacers. I'm generally working with vertical spacers of about 20 pixels. And so it's easy to just click, 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 and recreate them. So there we go. There's our toolbox.